you ever met Dr. Hill, Anita Mill? I have.
No, I haven't. No.
I mean, it's just like Dr. Ford. The most, Brett Kavanaugh and Clarence Thomas were accused by very, very credible women. That's what I'm saying. It's just, and I remember that whole grievance thing back around Clarence Thomas where you're like, this is based on something. He is very credibly accused of sexual harassment. And, you cut to Brett Kavanaugh, 4,500 tips to the FBI. They were pestering them about, did the Democrats get something we didn't get? Yeah, Democrats didn't get the 4,500 sexual assault or harassment allegations against Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, but that's what I mean. Here's this one. First of all, they kept whining. She hasn't been accused of sexual assault by anyone. Correct. She isn't accused of being blackout drunk while sexually assaulting us. Anyway, but that's what it came to mind. I'm like, this is a high-tech lynching. Right.
Marsha Blackburn last night, it was amazing if you look at what she was saying from 30,000 feet and you stop looking at the minutia of the nonsense that they're sort of cherry picking from some of these children's books and the curriculum and so on. Basically, Marsha Blackburn's block of questioning last night started out with the first half was basically N-word, 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 N-word. Then the second half was LGBTQ bashing. That was the second half. Basically the F word, shouting the F word at trans people and gay people and everything like that. That was essentially what they're doing. This is all about pandering to the people who hand over their life savings to the Red Hat Entertainment Complex, and whether it's merch or books or campaign donations to Save America PAC or Marsha Blackburn's PACs so on. This party is now entirely about being Viagra for the racist white guy vote. Yeah. That's essentially what they're doing. They say, here's all this red meat. Here are all these dog whistles. We're your team. We need you. You need us.
That's their only strategy. How do we suppress the vote of all the people we're going to piss off with this, with these hearings? Right? How do we keep, we don't care that we're going to, that you are going to anger, the Democratic base to such a degree. They're just going to figure out how they can keep us from voting. I mean, that's their whole,
Well, it's like one of the books that Ted Cruz was going on and on about yesterday was a book in which he was saying, the book says that all white people should go back to England or go back to Europe. So and he asked Judge Jackson, do you think all white people should go back to Europe? But of course, if you look at the book, the book is talking about, and I forget the name of the book. There was a book called Anti-Racist Baby, and then there was a second book that Ted Cruz was asking. This is the second book. Yeah. And so what the book says is there was this mindset, let's send all the black people back to Africa. And the book just makes the point, well, we can no sooner do that than sending all white people back to Europe. And it was just a point that was being made. It was a rhetorical point. And Ted Cruz, because he knows his yokel Gomer base is never going to read it, they're never going to look into it. So he's going off saying that, this book is telling all white people to go back to Europe. And does Judge Jackson have a view on this nonsense that Ted Cruz just made up?
Yeah.
And so that was, and then the Anti-Racist Baby book is basically just saying that racism is taught to children by their parents in a household, or their racism is often learned. And that is something that we should maybe work towards stopping. Maybe we shouldn't teach children racism.
I don't.
That's the.
It was hard to pick who's more despicable, right? I think, as we were saying, I think Josh Hawley was the thuggiest and but they all were just Tom Cotton. They were all. It's just what do they all have to have that same nasty, disrespectful tone? I mean, it just was.
It was like a posse finding a random black person in like the Jim Crow era and lynching them just to set an example to all the other black people. Don't you step out of line. And this has been exactly what you were saying. It's like a high-tech lynching because you know what? They've got no other substance. They cannot indict her on her qualifications. They cannot indict her on her education. There's nothing they can grasp a hold of with Judge Jackson. So they're going right to, well, she's black and she's a woman and she's also kind of liberal. So we're going to wheel out all the dog whistles here and at least stoke our base and get our base all fired up about, scary black person on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.